everybody, and welcome to this very first episode of What the Field, our very own podcast. So, are you afraid that this is going to be another corporate, boring podcast?
Yes, we are.
With that name,
Don't worry.
With that name,
Don't worry.
It couldn't be.
We have you covered. We just thought this would be an ideal place to talk a little bit more in depth about topics such as agriculture, but also sustainability and basically everything that matters in the world as it is today, in the state of the world today. So, by the way, I'm Emily.
And I am Roman, by the way. I should be working, first of all, but I'm sitting here with two of the co-founders of CrowdFarming.
Which should be working too.
So this is not a workout.
This
is not a job. Okay, good.
But in a more serious matter, we're doing this podcast for the sake of transparency, really, to tell our own consumers what's going on at CrowdFarming, what's going on in the world of agriculture, and in this new food supply chain that we're trying to build.
And to have fun.
I was going to say, and again, but we don't want to make it boring.
Perhaps have a bit of fun too. In this very first episode, we're honoured to be joined by...
Thank you.
We're very happy you guys are making some time for us. By two of the CrowdFarming co-founders. So we have Juliette, Simonin, and we have Gonzalo, Urculo. Thank you guys for being here today with us.
CrowdFarming co-founders is crowdfounders, no?
CrowdFarmers, you're right.
Indeed.
You're right. So
first of all, who chose the name What the Field? And why?
I think that's more to do with Emmeline.
Oh my god, I feel so put on the spot right now. So, What the Field, I think it's pretty obvious where it comes from. What the... No?
No.
What we were thinking, since we're in agriculture, we need to put the field in there. So, This is basically... Because we were wondering what could the name be. And since we will be asking a lot of questions, we thought what that would be a good...
But we are in a transparent podcast. You can say you are changing fact with Phil. Am I right?
Yes. If you want to go, if you don't want to be PG-13, yes.
Okay, good.
Brilliant. Have you prepared for this interview? Did you read the questions beforehand? Because you're the boss? Because you can do that?
Did I? No.
Don't have time. I wish I did, but
more than I trust you, Gonzalo.
but didn't have time.
Juliette really is busy. So.
But
she actually is busy.
Yes.
Please.
She actually is busy. Gonzalo, you mentioned the beginnings of CrowdFarming. Tell us how everything started. Why are we here today?
It started in the field, okay?
Right.
In an orange field in Valencia. So we started like 10 years ago. I become a farmer, okay? I used to work in logistics, and I have like a train stop in my life and say, do you want to run a farm that used to be from my grandfather? It was abandoned. My parents, they were going to sell this farm, and well, I say, okay, why not? At this time I didn't have to pay the school of my children, so it was quite easy decision for me, because I want to move to a farm. I was living in Madrid, and I wanted to have the experience in Veteran. It's a town close to Valencia. Okay, so I learned during the first years. I learned a lot about farming, and I learned a lot about how disconnected are the farmers from the consumers. No, because I needed to sell the oranges to someone. And this time there were like a few intermediaries that to come, and I couldn't negotiate the price of my oranges. No? So I was forced to sell these oranges, because otherwise they will be still hanging in the tree. So you are running out of time, so you need to sell your product. So we decided to create a website. That is the first website that we created was Naranjas del Carmen. It still is naranjasdelcarmen.com. And we offer to people the opportunity to buy the oranges that we were cultivating directly from us. Okay, so it was not like the typical startup, like we get success very early. No, it was not. So during the first 3 years, I was working in Naranjas del Carmen as a farmer, but also like helping in logistic projects so that I can win some money. And
you couldn't make a living with your
no, not at all. I mean, it was a loss maker, and we asked for a loan, 100,000 loan to buy a tractor, to buy a van, and
100,000 loans.
100,000 loan.
That sounds scary.
Sorry.
actually.
Yeah.
Thank you for correcting me. Evelyn. Talk to you later. 100,000 euros. And it took us like 4 years to start like having a positive results at the end of the year. But I think it's normal. The farms need. It was more like a farm business, no? So.
May I ask, did you get help from your parents? Was it like, okay, Dad, please, I'm promising you this is gonna work out. Help me.
Well, yes, I received a lot of help from my father and also from my mom. My mom used to go always with some cards that puts ambassador of oranges, and she was like walking in the street, like giving these cards to everyone, no?
To strangers.
To strangers. Yeah, it was put like happy mother or something like that, no? Happy mother of farmers or something like that in the card. So she was giving this away. But to make this story short, in 2017 we were able to sell all the oranges that we were cultivating. We grow a company from 2 people, that was my brother and myself, to 40. It was very disorganized company, but it was a profitable company. And there were like 40 people, we were working 40 people like with good contracts and good job all the year round. It was not very normal in the farm industry.
Because of seasonality, right?
This is seasonality and because of the prices. So being able to sell all of our production direct to final consumers give us the opportunity to build a profitable company.
So Juliette, meanwhile, you had a good career going on. You went to a very famous French commerce school, basically a university. And what made you switch to this little orange startup, basically? Like, where do you enter into the picture and why?
That's a good question. I think the answer is right on the right side of the room. No, actually, well, I was, as you were saying, I was working here in Madrid already. And I had the opportunity to grow professionally, but I was also asking myself what I wanted to do with my life. And I was very interested in sustainability and food at that time.
When not so many people were interested in that, no?
Thank you.
But like 5 years ago, not so many people were interested in that.
Definitely. And agriculture and everything that could relate agriculture to technology. So, well, you know, Madrid is a small world. When you start talking about that, then I got 2 people that mentioned Naranjas del Carmen, the Urculo's brothers company. So I met them. And I mean, how can you not fall in love with a project? You can't. So I said, okay, that's such a great thing. I want to be part of it. And so we started.
At the beginning, you say no. It was a bit difficult. I mean,
the story is different. At the beginning, you said maybe you can join the company for this type of job, and I said, I'm not that bad in my current company right now. But then we started working together. We saw. I think it's very important when you actually start a company with people, that you feel you can work with them and that you bring each other something. And we're very different as people and the way we think. And so it was kind of perfect. So that's when we started discussing very seriously of working together. And that's when I said, okay, let's go for it, because I was seeing it was working, and that the 4 of us, we would really be able to create something because we're so different and we would complement ourselves.
You know that I said that the company Naranjas del Carmen was like really, really disorganized because the positions were not very defined. There were not many protocols, and Juliette is Mr. Protocols, no? And Mr. This protocol. So this is when my brother and myself, together with Moises, the CTO of the company and also co-founder, we said, okay, we need someone like Juliette to organize ourselves and to organize the company.
Okay, and was it not a bit daunting entering like basically a family business where you're not scared to be undermined by the 2 brothers or something? I don't know, because I would maybe feel this way.
I'll give you a trick. At the beginning, when I started, I said, okay, I'll count every time I said Gonzalo is right, and I'll try to do the same with Gabby, so like it's all balanced, and then we'll see.
Did the brothers fight a lot?
Less than at the beginning. I think at the beginning there was more fighting, but it's normal because they really believe in it.
When everything is disorganized, one of the ways to manage the company is to fight. No, when you have a
good.
disorganized company, but it's working, so we fight.
And
But
what
the good
were
thing
the
about
teams?
fighting,
What were the teams? Was it like you and Gabi against Gonzalo and Mo,
It's
or
not the
did
game,
you?
so-
Because usually you have a side,
usually
right?
it was very funny because it's true that they know each other much better, and obviously when you know a person better, you can fight a bit stronger, let's say. And for Moises and myself, like we're not family, literally. So it was very funny because you would have like the fight between the two brothers usually, and Moises and myself will try just to be like fair for both of them.
at the beginning, Juliette
Yes.
choose the fights. Okay, Juliette is like, I mean, you see like a very polite French woman and everything. It always explains you in a very good tone, but when she needs to fight, you are lost.
I mean, she's still French, so
Yeah.
she will not be taken down lightly.
And it's funny because the year that we met Juliette, we were having so many problems with the French market. Like there were like French strikes, and they were throwing we sent like trailers from Spain to Germany.
It was the year of the Gilets jaunes. Indeed.
Where?
And
So the first trailer that we sent to Germany with clementines, it was like stopped in France, and all the boxes were thrown away. So I was like, but so I say, I mean, I always feel like I don't know how we have been more success in Germany than in France, because we don't have any connection with Germany, and we have a lot of connection with France. No, Juliette is French. My brother, another brother that I have, is married with a French woman, and it has been much more harder for us to be successful in the French market than in the German one.
I mean, I'm looking around. You have a very nice office right now. Did you expect this kind of growth when you started the company, or when you joined the company? Like, because it's 130 something people now working for CrowdFarming.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't have the time to expect. No, so we were just working.
Completely agree.
It's true. I mean, I'm not expecting. I don't know how we will be. I mean, we do some business plans and blah blah blah. We draw some Excels, okay. But at the end, most of the time we are working in like. I mean, to be honest, now we are dedicating more time to the strategy. I mean, now I am beginning to think more in 2023. Okay. But this is starting now. Until now, we have been working in what are we going to do next month, and what are we going to do next week. No, I mean,
And I think that's actually the trick. You should be like this at the beginning, and then maybe you can try. As we were saying, we're like more people are joining us, and we have some experts in the team, so we can start looking at strategy deeper. But before, and it didn't make sense because you need to adapt to exactly what's happening.
To survive, right?
Exactly. So it's actually made sense to do it like this.
now we have like the opportunity to think longer than today or longer than tomorrow. No, but I mean, we are evolving, and the way we manage the company is evolving with the company.
Indeed.
When did your parents realize you have a real job?
I mean, for me, it's going to be different because I'm going to be a bit harsh on that. But I think my parents thought I had a real job, and then I took that, and they were worried I had lost my real job, and then now they're seeing
Exactly.
So it was. I think they were like a bit. It was like you're joining a small company with Spanish brothers to sell
Spanish
oranges. Okay, if it's your life choice, there's no problem. But apart from that, I'm laughing. But they're actually been very supportive from the beginning. They're actually very good crowd farmers.
Yeah.
They try to sell it to everyone they can, a bit like your mother. So it's not. But it's true that it was kind of a big choice. But I think they're really seeing it's huge.
Yeah.
And in my case, they have been always supporting us, so not a big deal. As far as I send them oranges for free, they are happy.
That's actually really funny because your brother told me the other day that your mom was really upset because now she has to pay for the clementines.
She does. You make your mom pay for her clementine?
Not always. Not always.
It was
I
a
mean,
mistake.
Oh.
It was. I forgot. Like she reminded me. I mean, send me some clementines, and I really forgot it.
You forgot it.
Yeah. So at the end, she bought it. I said, yeah, but it's a good customer experience, UX experience. Huh?
Exactly. If your mom can go through the process then
Oh,
anyone
are
can-
you
Exactly.
insulting the mom?
No, not
No,
just with me, but also with my mom.
So you've been at CrowdFarming for 4 years now, right? For like I think in November we had our 4th anniversary. If you could go back in time, what would you do differently? Or are you like, no, we're perfect, we wouldn't do anything differently, we never made mistakes?
So we cannot say we're perfect. Okay, got it.
Emily, I mean, how can I answer to your question? No,
We want to know about the lessons learned here. Like, give us the good stuff. Like, for a future, like someone trying to emulate you, what would your advice to that person be?
I mean, I don't have advice for anyone about this topic. It's difficult. It's a really difficult question. Okay, what would I say? I mean, we have commit failures every day, but the good thing about committing failures is that you are a solver master, and we have become a solver master. We are probably one of the best companies solving problems very fast. Why? Because we are probably the company that has committed the most failures in 1 year. So, I mean,
What's the biggest failure you've seen in 4 years at CrowdFarming besides starting this podcast?
Come on now, Roman.
Does anyone else here in the office could do it better?
I didn't know.
Obviously.
No, I always say, for example, there are some decisions that I have taken that have affected the website because I was like very close mind because I have been doing this before in Naranjas del Carmen, so I was trying like copying what works in Naranjas del Carmen. So it has been very difficult for the product team to convince me to change my mind because it was already working. But there are some things that have proved to be better that I thought at the beginning, and that has led the company to a slower pace.
Yeah. In your case, Juliette?
I'm not sure I would say the biggest failure because I'm not...
Or mistake, rather.
Mistake.
Or maybe lesson. Just
Or lesson,
frame it
yeah, no,
positively.
exactly. Because
Like
from a
if you can
mistake,
be
you can do a
positive, it's
lesson.
easier for me because I think I think we really... well, it's going to sound cliche, but we really learn from mistakes. So I'm not sure I would say, okay, because if we didn't do that, probably we would have done other mistakes afterwards. But I would say the main learning point is really in terms of the teams. How do we interact together? How do we grow together? And how can we just get the best out of each other? I think this is really important, and to trust the people you're working with. I think that's maybe I didn't see it so well before entering this company, probably also because it's a smaller company than where I was before. So it's different, the experience. But for me, it's been the key learning.
So basically you're saying this is not this corporate snake pit where everyone is backstabbing each other, so good for us.
To now, I don't know about you guys in your teams because you're not in
No
operations.
No comments.
We don't want to talk about it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay.
I want to ask, could anyone have found it CrowdFarming? Because, Gonzalo, let's face it, you inherited a farm from your family, and that's where you started.
Kind of a good starting point. Like.
So you didn't have the problem of let's acquire some land to start this farming business, right?
Because you yourself, sorry for interrupting, but you yourself, I remember distinctly that you told me that the major entry barrier for farmers is the land. Because they're not able to afford it, that for you this is one of the reasons why we don't have a lot of young farmers anymore.
It's true. I mean, but CrowdFarming is different than Naranjas del Carmen. Okay, you are asking me about CrowdFarming?
I am asking you about CrowdFarming, but of course you have a baggage of now 10 years of experience, thanks to Naranjas del Carmen.
I mean, CrowdFarming wouldn't have existed without Naranjas del Carmen.
That's very
so it's kind
true.
of related.
It's true. I mean, there are so many to become a farmer that is a farmer that is entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's harder than becoming a city entrepreneur, from my point of view, because I mean, you like running a farm. It takes more time. Usually, these like companies that wants to or venture companies that wants to give funds. They want to see the growth very early. So when you are starting a farm project, it takes more time. So you need to have patience. You need to be patient, and it's not so easy to receive funding when you are running a farm project. Okay, and especially when you have been doing nothing before. I mean, what was my CV before Naranjas del Carmen? I was a student, not very good student, so I didn't have any.
Not like Juliette.
Not like Juliette. But it's true. I mean, I didn't have any background, so it was very difficult to convince any bank to give me a loan to run this farm business. No? And having found first Naranjas del Carmen and having learned to be patient and learning a lot of things about logistics and learning a lot of things about farming, like give us a really good position to found CrowdFarming. So I'm very happy, and I think I am. I have the energy and I have the knowledge to run the company as it is now, and I feel very confident about myself, and I feel very confident about the team that I'm founding. So I am very optimistic about that we are a really strong team and we have really strong values. And
Roman is looking very skeptical of it.
Yeah, it's like you're thinking.
I hope you're not talking about me.
but it was a question to answer like this way. I mean,
No. But I think it's. I think you're giving the right answer. But there's not like a right answer.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah, it's true.
but I think it's what you're saying is the truth, right? Like perhaps not everyone can do what you've done as well, but you perhaps were given a set of circumstances. And you took advantage of your circumstances when perhaps someone else wouldn't have done the same thing.
But I think it's personally, I think it's almost always the case. I mean, even for a normal entrepreneur, it's getting the right moment, the right idea, and just using your, as you're saying, the set of circumstances. So I don't know. I'm not sure it's okay. Gonzalo did it with the farm because it was, as you were saying, at this moment what he had. But I think it's about that actually, to launch a business, about choosing the right moment, the right time, the right skills,
and knowing yourself. No?
Exactly.
So I was not a very good student, so I will never be a notary. No, because you have to study a lot. I will never be an astronaut because you have to study a lot, and it's not just a physical thing. It's also. But I have a lot of energy, and I like to travel, and I love farming. So. I founded a company in the field that I feel comfortable. No?
So I've heard through the grapevine that we now have investors. We haven't had any investors, except your parents probably, in the last 4 years of our
Juliette
existence.
was investor, I was investor. At the beginning, it was
external, let's say external investors.
Okay.
So I think
Professional investors.
From outside a company.
Right.
I mean, it's actually quite a feat because most startups, they wouldn't have survived this long and wouldn't have grown as much as we did. I mean, we have, 300,000 clients or more, or we had those before the investors came in. And now we have investors, so do people need to worry that we're now going to be, turning to the dark side?
What is the dark side?
Exactly.
The venture capital world
and why is
of
it the dark
unhealthy
side?
growth.
We are like building something big to sell and then buy, and then Juliette goes with a big boat and I go to buy another farm.
Or having investors that are like, you need to deliver, we need more growth. We don't care about the environment, more growth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you sell your soul to venture capital?
Yes, that's the question I was meaning to ask.
No. Well, we make a big thought about inviting like professional investors to give us funds to rise the company and to run the company. No? First of all, it was not a easy decision. So what we decided to do is let's don't depend on investment to running the company, so that we can continue thinking for as long as we want. No. So we were like running the company in a way that we could support, okay? So we reached a positive result after 3 years. So, and it was in our plans to start CrowdFarming. We asked for a loan to Banco Santander, 1.5 million at the beginning. So, and we were able to run the company, to hire a lot of people, and then to give back this loan. So we were not looking for investors to continue running the company because the company was already running.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But it's true that when you hire people and when you hire like really good people, then you start to think bigger, no? Because when you are running a marketing campaign just by yourself, then you can run a company like this big, no? But when you are starting to hire like a really good chief marketing officer, and she opens your mind and gives you like more opportunities, and Juliette is bringing more farmers, and the more and more the crowd farming is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the projects to be developed are bigger. And at some point, we couldn't have the funds to support the projects, no. So we were hiring people just to maintain the growth, the structure, but at some point, okay, these people is asking us, and we are also thinking in bigger projects, and these bigger projects we couldn't fund this, no. And crowd farming is born to be big. It's true, okay. It's more romantic to be little, maybe. I mean, some companies should maintain little, but others not. I mean, CrowdFarming is born to make a revolution happening. Okay, we want to change the traditional food supply chain. We want to allow more and more farmers to build their own direct channel to final consumer. And there are more farmers in the queue that is waiting us, so that we are getting bigger. So there are people. And these people are investors that don't just give you money to hire more people or to develop more operations, but also that have been in companies like this before. Okay, and we were lucky that the more and more there are more like impact funds are raising.
What's an impact fund for those who maybe listening to us and don't know?
Good question. I'm not a specialist in funding and in funds.
Don't say you don't know, please.
I know. I mean, impact now. Like a lot of people now says there are impact. We are creating impact. I mean, for our experience, we were looking for funds that they were not looking for
only rentability
in terms of cash or profitability. Okay, but also that they are completely aligned with the environmental and social metrics that we were already trying to. No, what are our metrics? Okay, our metric says that we want to have in Europe more and more organic land. This is why we are helping organic farmers creating more value from their products. No, and another metric that we were developing is like reducing plastics in packaging, no? So we are developing a lot of packaging that is compostable or recyclable, no? And another metric that we are looking is to empower farmers and creating jobs in rural areas, no? So we speak openly to these farmers. I mean, we are not just looking for growing like 200% year on year. We are also looking at these metrics, and those metrics are as important as the other ones. All of them are important, no? Like we invite 3 at the end. We interview. I mean, I did it with you. How many investors did we interview?
Dozens.
Okay, like a lot of them in 1 year time.
A bit more even. Yeah.
More than a year.
Yeah.
And at the end, we have the opportunity, and not all the startups have this opportunity, or not all the companies have this opportunity to choose the investors. And I mean, we speak about this issue a lot of time, and at the end we decided to invite these 3 investors, and we are happy about this. You need to take decisions, okay? And I think we took and I'm sure that we took the right decision, because those investors are advising us how to grow the teams, how to maintain the culture, and they are also giving us money to open crowd farming in more countries, to paying better salaries, to hiring better people, to...
He wants to replace us.
Okay, sorry.
And getting fired.
He was like sweating.
Fired now, because we have money, don't worry.
I said, but thank you for stopping me. I mean, I was like starting to pitch. So thank you.
No, you were scaring us.
That's it. No, sorry.
We're going.
Juliette, would you like to add anything to what Gonzalo
Well, I think it was very complete, but maybe just, I'm sorry, but I'm going to say your question is a bit simple, if I may say so. Because
She's
I think
attacking us now.
No, I'm just saying it's true that we've had so many times this conversation, and I think it's the vision you have from outside that you make VC money enter your company, so you lose control, and then you're not doing good for the world anymore. And I think in our case, first, we're still, they enter the capital, but they're not the majority. So they don't have so much power, and actually they can help us. I think you need to see it as a partnership, like it should always be. So and that's why the interviews you did with Gonzalo were so important. I just think sometimes we have this vision, and it's true on so many topics we're seeing, and we could discuss about it on sustainability. Sometimes we go directly and there is good and there is bad. And probably, and as it is always in the world, the situation is a bit more complex, and it's just you need to take the best out of these investors to carry out our mission, which is very clear, as Gonzalo was saying it, and to actually keep going and keep growing to help farmers and consumers. That's what we want to do in a sustainable way.
Okay, but right there, actually, I do have a more critical question.
So it's not going to be so simple. Okay.
It's not always so simple.
You've called us beta.
Yes.
No,
Come on, you started this, Juliette.
Juliette.
Because speaking of sustainability and speaking of basically doing good, if you want to call it that, for farmers, for consumers, for this planet, you could argue, I'm not saying I'm arguing, right? Don't fire me for this.
Oh my
but
God.
you could
Behind the question, Emily, just say it right away.
One could argue that we have a sort of inclusivity problem of sorts, that to be truly sustainable, wouldn't we need to be inclusive in the sense of that everyone can participate, the consumers can buy all their fruits at CrowdFarming, but not
but
just
we are sustainable, but we are also professionals. Okay, so we want to deliver a professional experience to our farmers and to our consumers. Okay, and we have limited resources nowadays. I mean, we cannot invite all the farmers to the platform because, by the way, it needs at least 3 months. Since the first moment we visit a farms until we build the website for them, it takes us like 3 months. So
and it's good. I mean, it's 3 months to create a link. You know it, but for us, it's very important. It's a human connection, and they know CrowdFarming because they know the person working with them, and we get to know them. It's not just, okay, you just sign in on that, and we'll never see each other, and that's fine. That's not how we work. So it's normal that it's 3 months just to get to know each other. Sorry about that.
It's true. So we have limited resources, okay? So, and then even though we are a software company, we do a lot of manual things and we love it. So we are not obsessed about scaling, just do scaling things. No, I mean, we love to have this human connection. One of our values is to humanity. So we have a team here in Spain of 8 farmer hunters. Like this is engineers that should visit the farms and so on. So I wish we could support like 1,000 small farmers, but nowadays we have just like 8 farmers. So we have to choose. Some of them are big, some of them are small. So
8 farmer hunters, you mean?
Yes.
8 farmer hunters in Spain. No, like 8 engineers, farm engineers.
Or biologists, people that select, that vet the farmers in the sense, and that identify them and build relations with them. Yeah.
So, well, we choose the size of the farmers. I mean, some of the farmers from a product, I don't know, like it could be like small farmers, but we need to say, okay, what is our small farmers? Like single person farm. We do have some, okay. For example, we have some algae in Galicia, okay. I think there is like two women doing this, and it's okay. Okay, but when we are looking, for example, for oranges or for mangoes, it's easier for us to find like a farmer where there is like 50 people working, and they're supposed to be like big farmers, no?
I think it's not a question on this because I think it's not a question of whether it's easier for us, it's a question of whether it works with the current model we have and why we want to use our fundings. I mean, right now we had the capacity, and actually we had this investment a few months ago for what the people we were. And as you know, well, probably no, you don't know, but to create a farmer page on what we call the farmer page, the description of the farmer on the website, it takes time, 3 months, and it's complicated.
Translating it to 7 languages, to Swedish, to Netherlands,
Exactly.
to Italian, to French.
So you get lots of details, and we discovered, that was one of the first learnings, we were discussing about learnings before, that we made at the beginning, which was, if you're a small farmer, you're going to spend lots of time on that, and even if you sell everything you have, as you're so small, you're not going to be benefiting so much from the model because it's too complicated right now. We're not. So what we did at that point is we said, what is our mission? To help farmers. If we cannot help small farmers right now, it doesn't make sense. We're going against our mission and we're doing things completely wrong. So what we're doing is we're trying, it's not that we're not saying yes to small farmers, we're explaining them if it makes sense for them to enter. Take into consideration this and this and this. So there are lots of them that say, okay, maybe for later. But with this investment, what we plan to do is to make it easier for them to enter. Because we're going to automate, even if we love manual tasks. I'm not sure my teams would agree on that, but that's fine. If we automate everything we can, then we're going to make it absolutely, it would make sense for a very small farmer to join. It would be easier for them. Right now, the problem is that it's actually so manual. So I think here it's not that we don't want these small farmers, it's just a question of timing, and that's where investment in that case, I think, is good.
Yeah. So with this investment, we can operate a logistics center where we can do the picking, because some of the small farmers, they don't have like a place to do the picking, or they don't have even the money to pay for the boxes before the orders, no? So we will do this for them.
Okay, and what about, sorry, Roman.
Go ahead.
But the other part of the question was more pertaining to the consumer side. So I'm not saying I share this opinion because obviously I'm an insider on the subject, but we get a lot of comments from people saying, especially Spanish people, saying, but this is so expensive.
Okay.
What would you say to those people?
Okay, very good question about the price, no? Because we aim to have like competitive prices. We first of all, the farmers from the platform are the ones that fix the price.
And this will not change.
And this will not change.
Yeah.
I mean, so we are not intermediaries. They decide the price, and we invoice the farmers.
What do you mean the fixed price is the farmer decides the price they're
Exactly.
selling? It's just one single farmer, not all the farmers together. Because that could be understood a bit wrong.
Each farmer decides the price
according to their realities.
Exactly.
Okay, so the problem when someone says that this product is expensive or the other one is expensive is because they are treating all the oranges, all the mangoes like a commodity. And there are people that are growing mangoes and they are like paying attention about solar energy, or that they are paying attention to pay good salary to their workers. So they cannot compete with other people from other countries, or that they are just willing to have a piece of fruit that looks like a mango and they don't care about how is it growing. So you cannot compare apples and bananas.
And then there's the organic point. I don't know about, I think it's the basics also. We're selling organic fruits, so which means that usually farmers, it's higher cost for them to produce, so a higher price.
It should be affordable for all people in Europe, okay, to buy fruits directly from the farmers. But organic fruit directly from the farmers, and that the farmers receive a fair price, or what they consider a fair price, no, the farmers. And so this is very, very important, and we also want to pay like good prices to the transport companies. No, it doesn't make sense that then we praise the transport companies and we try to pay them less because we want to be competitive. No,
more than good, it would be fair. What we're trying to do is to build a fair system, and this is it's not the case right now in the food industry, and that's why we're there, and that's why Gonzalo was saying we want to build a revolution. It's something completely different.
Where do you think the unfairness of the current system lies?
Oh, that's terrible, because we don't want to point anyone.
We're going to start pointing fingers.
But now I'm picking on you. Because since you mentioned you want to build a fair system, that means the current system is unfair.
It's unfair because it's inefficient. So you lose so much in the process that it makes it unfair. because to make sure that anyone can survive and can buy product, you need to not pay the farmer, you need to put so many intermediaries, so in the process you lose fruit, you lose the harvest. I mean, it's such a complex question.
No, but to answer you in a simple way, for me an unfair system is a system where the one that is working the most and that is absorbing the highest risk is receiving the less. And this is the farmer normally. Is the one that is working the most, is the one that is absorbing all the risk, and is the one receiving the less portion of the cake. This is an unfair system for me.
Yeah, agreed. You were mentioning earlier, or you were emphasizing the organic aspect. So why do we only accept organic farmers or farmers that are in transition to organic? Why make that choice if we want to? Because we want to help all farmers.
Yeah.
You said it yourself in your question. I let you
No,
answer.
but it's a personal decision. We are organic believers. Okay, it's like that. So, but we are not just helping organic farmers. We are also helping the ones, and you are helping the ones with your job, Emily, about conversion project. No, we are helping the farmers to convert into organic. But we don't want to sell any fruit that is not that has been treated with pesticides. We are not. This is a personal decision that we have taken. We are funding this company with these values, and we are not okay about.
So this is simply a value of yours. And what is your take on this, Juliette?
No, I was just saying, I think the key part here is not to say, okay, we have the easy task, we're just waiting for farmers to be organic and then we make them sell and that's perfect. We're working with farmers in conversion, which can be a very tricky moment for them because they're losing part of their harvest and it's not the best moment. And we're actually trying to promote those to help them and to multiply the number of farmers converting to organic. So I think it's part of our mission too. So of course, as Gonzalo was saying, it's our value, but we want to make this value accessible to more. So that's why that's part also of what we're trying to do.
Something that you touched on before, speaking of operations and the farmer hunting team, is how far can you audit farmers? Like, how do you know, for example, that a farmer is selling organic when they say they're inorganic? Or how do you know farmers are paying fair wages to their workers?
Okay, the first one is easier than the second one.
Yeah.
Okay, because you just analyze the harvest, like in different times of the season. You go by surprise, you pick some fruits, and you analyze the harvest. And you can see if the farmers if the fruit is organic or not.
And apart from that, you get lots of help from the European Union because organic is something. I mean, it's a label. It's not something we invented ourselves. So.
Yeah, but it's a good question. We are now thinking about how we can about the social aspect, no?
Yeah.
How we can be sure that the farmers are paying, like, because this is like it's very difficult to be transparent on this, no?
Yeah.
It's also the privacy policy of the people that don't want to disclose the salaries and blah blah blah. So it's quite difficult. So, but we are making progress on this, and we hope to have something that is enough for us. No?
What is enough?
When is it ever enough?
What is enough about the salary or the social conditions?
Social conditions specifically.
Yeah. I mean, for us, the aspect of, like, is the organic farming creating more jobs? Is this creating good jobs? What is good jobs? This is your net questions. What is good jobs? Like you can make a good living with them in the area where you are living. Okay, so with the salary that you are obtaining, can you have like a good balance, can you make a good living? Can you take your school can you take your children to a good school? Can you I mean,
do you have stability? Because this is another issue in agriculture, right?
Yeah.
Because people are just temporarily employed for the season, for the harvest, and then basically they find themselves looking for another job until the next harvest usually, no?
But it's something that we are working with the farmers. I mean, we are checking with them how transparent could they be in terms of law, but also in terms of it's something that is not comfortable, and we like uncomfortable issues to manage uncomfortable issues, and it's a really good objective for us.
Do you think it's a cultural issue for farmers not wanting to?
And not just for farmers, also for any companies.
For any employer.
For any employer, they don't like to disclose how much are they paying to their workers, no?
Yeah.
And we are crossing some red lines, and we don't want to go with this discussion. I mean, you are not disclosing it because you are paying like very bad salaries. I mean, please, this is like very easy. We don't like that too. So it's a really interesting topic.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we think that to be completely transparent, you have to cross all the red lines and to cross all the privacy. And sometimes, like transparency and privacy, they can match, and we need to find this place where they match.
What would you say going forward are the major challenges crowd farming is faced with? Barriers are there maybe existing today
And barriers?
that need to be
yeah.
worked on to be able to grow even more, let's say?
Okay, so we have a lot of
Become
barriers. Okay, so we need to get, for example, now when you go through crowd farming, you can just buy like big amounts of fruits. No, you can buy like 5 kilos of clementines, and sometimes from some people like buying 5 kilos in a single boat is like too much. No. So we need to be more efficient in terms of logistics so that we can mix products from different farmers and making it like very fast so that they receive all the product very fresh. Mm-hmm. No? We have barriers also sometimes. We have like climate issues, no, like affect the harvest of the farmers. And there are people in crowd farming that they were expecting some product, and at the end this product don't exist anymore because there has been like a big storm. So we need to communicate to them, and we have like tons of barriers. Now in terms of packaging, we have to evolve a lot. In terms of technology, we have to evolve so many things. We want to be, and this is one of our objectives, we want to be the most trusted marketplace in the world. Okay, not the biggest one, but the most trusted. Okay, we want to be treated from the farmer side, from the consumer side, and even the people working in crowd farming. We want all of them to trust in crowd farming. So this is a daily activity. I mean, it's not something that you make a plan and let's try to do this plan. It's something that we both need to transmit to the people. We need to be trusted. No, our team should trust on us. We should trust on our team. So this is one of our main objectives, to be the most trusted marketplace in the world.
I think we also have a lot of challenges in terms of logistics, which is maybe the only point you didn't mention, because we're looking for the best fruits to bring the fruits or whatever the product to the crowd farmer, and this means actually taking into account so many things because we want to be sustainable and to improve our
logistics,
our management of everything. So that I think that's also another point we have.
Well, thank you very much for answering our questions.
We do not have time for more because Gonzalo, you speak too much. I don't know if
Yes,
anyone's told you that
indeed.
before.
We need to work on that part for sure. We hope you didn't fall asleep listening to this first episode. We are promising the next episode will be a little bit shorter. In any case, thank you for joining us on this little field trip to the world of crowd farming. And until next time, hopefully.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you.